here are the settings that we're going to use in today's project. We're using the 20-watt laser, 3mm basswood. We're doing two separate things. We're going to cut most everything, but we put a little word on it that says test, so we did actually engrave something. So our engraving settings are going to be 150 power, 60 speed, 1 pass, 100 density. That's for our little name that we put on it. And then to cut everything, we're going to use 100, 7, and 1. Density doesn't matter when you're cutting. So 3mm basswood. Obviously, if you're using a different type of material, your numbers would be different. And if you're using a different wattage of laser, your numbers would be different. But these are just a guideline based on a 20. So you can base it on there and go from there. Okay, today we're going to make this little box here on the front of all my machines. I have this little box for remote control, and the remote control can be operated without taking it out. And what this does is it turns the fan on and off for the blowers that blow the exhaust out of the machines. But these remotes, we're going to make one of the remote control boxes. We're going to make one of these. Sky's the limit on your imagination on these. You can use it for TV remote, whatever, but it keeps it right there. And then if you want to pull it out of there, you just raise it up, pull it out, you have it. When you're done, you just let it fall back in place, and it's always there. You never lose it. So let's get over to the computer and get these made. Okay, this is the website that we're going to be going to here in a bit. box.laserbiz.ru. It's a Russian site. Basically, you know, when you open up We Create Make It, it's got all the different projects on it. This is the same thing, but it's for a Russian laser company. Of all the box making software that I found out there, this is probably the best one. So, but that's the address that we're going to type in here in a minute. So we're going to do a few preliminary things, and then we'll go to that. Okay, everybody. Before we get started, we're going to get some measurements. You can use a tape measure. You can use a ruler. You can use whatever takes measurements. I use a set of calipers. These are nice because they're pretty much idiot-proof, and you don't have to check your little notches and count and figure out what's what. It just tells you what it is. You can get these at tools, where you get tools. You can get some at Harbor Freight. If you go to my website, there's a link to a set there that comes with the tool, a case, the batteries, everything that you need. And they're like less than $8 if you order from the website. So that's from Amazon. I bet you can get really nice ones that are hundreds of dollars. You don't need anything like that. These are basic ones, and they get done what we need to get done. We're not doing rocket science here. Okay. So with these, you just the on-off button, the 0 button, and the inches and millimeters button. You turn it on. You got 0 millimeters. If it was off, you hit 0. It's like the tare on a scale that brings it back to 0. Right now I'm doing in millimeters. You can do it in inches. I find millimeters easier to use. But we're going to take measurements of the box. Now the box in the picture shows a box like this with the top open. We don't want that. We want this to be our top. So when we take our measurements, we need to note that. All right, so we're going to take our remote, and this is going to be the depth. Okay, I'm going to put it at, it's almost 17. We're going to put it at 18. And that measurement we're adding, while we're adding to that one, we're going to add to that one, and we're going to add to this one here. This one's about 45, so we're going to make that 46. And the reason we add a millimeter to both of those is so that you have slide room for it to go in and out. If you make it too tight, it's going to pain in the ass. We've done this measurement. We've done this measurement. Now we need the overall length measurement. Say 105. And we don't have to add to that. It'll be fine the way it is. Okay. Now we also need measurements for this cutout here. And what that cutout there allows you to do is once it's in the holder, you can operate the remote control while it's in the holder. These are on the front of all my machines. I don't have to take it out. I can just hit the on, high, and the fan turns on high, off, turns it off. Like I say, you can leave it in there and do it, take it out and do it. But if you have a place to hold it, the chances of it being lost are less. All right, so we need the measurements for this cutout right here. So we're going to go a little bit of each side of the buttons. Okay, we're going to go with 28. And then you're going to measure from the top past the last button. And then go 64. All right, so there's all the measurements that I need to complete the project. Okay, so we're going to go over, and remember, this, instead of the box looking like this when you're looking at it, when we enter the dimensions, we got to consider that this is our top and not our side. Makes a big difference. Okay, so let me get to the website and we'll start and go from there. Okay, here we are on the web page. I typed in box.laserbiz.ru and that brings it up. As you see, it is in Russian. If you're fluent, continue that way. If you'd like the rest of us, towards the right on your address bar, there's a translate key. You click on it. It says translate from Russian to English. You can do any language you want there. And then hit translate and you'll see the page changes automatically to English. As I told you, this had a lot of stuff on it. It's got over 130 different projects. I liken it to We Create Make It's intro screen. It's got all the different stuff in it. But this has a bunch of stuff in it. This company makes lasers in Russia, and it's their front page for that. But what we're going to do, scroll back up, and we're going to do box number 1. Okay. Now you see how the picture here portrays the open part of the box as the top. Remember, our remote control is skinny and tall, so keep that in consideration whenever you're doing it so you don't get the orientation wrong. And if you do, you'll know when you call it up on the screen. We're going to click on box. Alright, it should automatically translate it for you. If not, click on that translate key again and she'll do it. And we're going to take our width measurement and we're going to put that in. That was 18. Our length of the remote control was 46. Okay, and our height was 105. Okay, and we're going to click on this box here that says external because the measurements that we took were of the remote. So that's what we want the inside of the box to be, not the outside of the box. Where it says bottom edge here, you can change that to do different types of edging. I like the one that the tongue and groove one because a lot of times you don't even need glue for those. The next parameter down is thickness of the material, 3 millimeters. That's what I'm going to use. File output, SVG. That's what's good for We Create Make It. You can do that. QR code, if you want to mess with that you can. I leave it blank. Next one down is mark. And as you see it there, it says doesn't work everywhere, but on a lot of the pieces it'll mark front, back, left, right, right on the piece. If you don't want it to, click off of it. I leave it on. You can always take it off when you get it pulled up into Make It. Corner styles, I leave the way it is. Correction, I leave the way it is. Once you get all that stuff inputted like that, hit download. And you see up here, on Windows anyways, where it says download, and then it's got a little file on it. If you click on the file, a Windows Navigator screen will pop up, and at the top of it, it'll have what you got. With it highlighted, I'm gonna right click, then I'm gonna come down and hit copy, and then I'm going to go to where I keep all my Recreate files. I'm gonna right click, I'm going to hit paste. So now if you want to navigate back to downloads, you can, but now this is in my WeCreate file for all time, so now I know where to go get it. Alright, I want to close this out. I want to call up WeCreate. I'm going to go from there. Alright, here we go. I've got the WeCreate Make It screen up. I want to hit Canvas. And hit cancel on the premium membership thing. And you get your blank screen here. Okay, now I'm going to hit File, Import, and there's the A box that was saved. I'm going to click on it, hit Open, and there it is. Can't really see it. Okay, so I'm going to click on the background with my right mouse key and hit Hide Background, and there it is. If you have got something on here where these are short instead of long, then you just got to flip-flop your numbers and run it again. Okay, but there it is, and that's the way we're going to run it. Now what we have to do is, on one of these we have got to put that cutout for the front of the remote control. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to come over here to rectangle. We're just going to draw a rectangle. Alright, now up here at scale, we're going to type in those numbers. The width that we had was 28, and the height that we had was 64. Oh, it's in inches. We want it to be in millimeters. Millimeters. Alright, width 28, height 64. Alright, so there's our cutout. And the way that we're going to do this is we're going to bring the cutout over here and set it on the piece. We're going to make sure that it's centered. We're going to collect this piece, hit the shift key, hit this piece, and then we're going to align center, and it should move that square right into the center. Okay, next thing you're going to do is you're going to combine those. I say combine, actually you're going to separate them, but here you've got it in there. You're going to bring your triangle across till both of those are highlighted. Don't worry about these three down here, they'll stay. Those two are highlighted. You're going to come up to merge, and you're going to hit subtract. Alright, click offside, and you see how that is subtracted. You can always change it later. If you have to redo this square in here, you go back to the original, make the square a little bigger, then merge it in there, but it's there. Alright, so now all you need to do is you need to get your piece of wood, and one of the things that I like to do here at this point is take the ones that have the little cutouts in it, highlight them, and group them. So when you're moving stuff around the screen, you don't leave one of those little holes behind. And another thing you get by doing this is whenever you put your piece of wood in there, you can manipulate it a little bit better. Give me just a second, I'll be right back. Alright, so here I am on the screen. I've got all my pieces. I'm going to hit refresh. I put a piece of wood in the machine. I'm going to hit refresh. This is a scrap piece of wood that I've cut a bunch of other stuff out of it. But as you see, I've still got my pieces here. But what I can do, take this piece, rotate it, slide it down here, take this piece here, rotate it, slide it over here. But you can move your stuff around. A scrap piece of wood is not a piece of scrap until you can't fit anything else on it. So don't throw your stuff away just because you've done a project. Alright, so here we go. I've got everything on there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit autofocus, let the machine come over and autofocus, and the same on this project as you would any other project. You've got your alignment, you've got where you think everything should be. Do your autofocus and then double check your alignment before you go to print anything. Okay, So now it's auto-focused. As it auto-focuses, it's going to refresh. And you may see it move a little bit. Lighting's changed. At this point, the camera is closest to the machine than it has been in any of the processes. So we now know that that's pretty accurate. Okay. Now when we brought all these in, they're not cut files, so we're going to select the whole thing. Come over here, we're going to hit cut. We're doing this on basswood, so 100, 7, and 1 should be fine. If you use something a little bit thicker or a little harder, you may have to switch it to 2. If you hit enhanced cutting, it automatically will switch to 2. What enhanced cutting does is it cuts at the top level, it drops down a millimeter or 2, it cuts it again. So each time it drops down, it's penetrating the wood deeper. That's all enhanced cutting does. Okay, but for what I'm doing, I can get by with doing it at 1. Okay, she's set, she's lined up. I'm going to send it over to the printer. Before I do this, I'm going to put, like I did on all my other ones, I want to put something on the front of it. I select text, and I'll put test on the front of it. I'm going to take that. I'm going to do fill engrave on it. I need to make it smaller. I'm going to have to rotate it. And the part that you cut the piece out of for the face of the remote control, that's going to be the face of the thing. So there I put test. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go with that's there. That's your personal preference. But now she's all ready to go. I'm going to hit start. I'm going to hit send to machine. Now I'm going to go over and push a button. I'll be right back. Okay, I have all the pieces printed off. One thing that you want to do is make sure you save your project whenever you make changes to it. So if you got to go back and change anything else, it's there. Example here is if I go to put this box together and I break off one of these legs, i.e. like that, I can just reprint this piece. I don't have to go through the whole process and do everything again. It's saved. Okay, so I have the front, I have the back, I have the 2 sides, and I have the bottom. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them together, side and the front together. Insert the bottom. And I'm trying to keep the weak part down until I get it snapped together. Once it's together, it's hard, but like this, it's not. Okay, snap on the other side. Squish it together. Now I take the back. And now these snap together pretty tight, but if you want to glue them, all you have to do is take a drop of glue, put on each of these legs on the front and back, and then everything will stay together. If you're doing a box that has an open top on it, and you can get your hand in there, you can take glue on a Q-tip and run along this inner edge, and it'll work. Okay, there she is, all stuck together. And I mean, like, it's pretty good. It ain't going anywhere. Here's our remote. Slide it in, and there she is, ready to go. Different setting on this. When I did it the first time, or last time I did it, one of the options on there was to add legs. So it adds these little legs here to the bottom of it, which if you were making a standard box, that'd be pretty cool, but you don't really need them for this. So that's how you do it. If you got any questions or whatnot, let me know. Like, share, and follow my videos. It helps me keep going. Have a great day.